How are you doing today?
Hey, Kevin. How are you? I'm doing well.
Thank you for being here. I read an article yesterday about your discussion involving the president and his need to focus more on his agenda rather than Russia. What was your opinion on that?
Like any president, Donald Trump got elected on a certain core set of issues. Creating jobs, increasing wages, securing our border and enforcing our immigration laws, protecting our communities from crime, especially drug crime, strengthening our military, and defending our national security. Like any president, he will tend to do well if he focuses on that agenda. To the extent that he's focused on some of the Democrats and the media's most wild-eyed, hair-on-fire allegation, he is being distracted from the agenda that the American people elected him to pursue. So that's what I try to do every day in Congress, is focus on those issues that matter most to Arkansans, and the president would do well to focus on those also. My
understanding is you've expressed this to him directly.
I have. We've discussed it personally.
What does he say about that?
He says he understands and that he knows that that he got elected to deliver on those issues. I think the media sometimes treats him unfairly, and I would say that he's right about that. If you remember the day he was sworn in, some reporter jumped down his throat saying that he'd removed the Martin Luther King bust from the Oval Office, when in fact people were just standing in front of it. 2 weeks ago, he was in Europe at the summit of the G7 leaders. 6 of the leaders had headphones on, and some British reporter jumped down his throat for not wearing his headphones, when in fact 2 minutes of reporting would have revealed that he was wearing an earpiece that translated the speech, as he always does. Those are small things. They don't impact anyone's lives in Arkansas, but it just goes to show how aggressive and sometimes unfair the media can be towards this president.
Senator Tom Cotton.
I think it would be best if everybody probably just, as we'd say in the Army, took a knee, had a tactical pause, collected their thoughts, and refocused on what really matters to Americans.
Okay, yeah, the president is still tweeting out about the London attacks and going right after the London mayor. So, does the president not bring some of this upon himself?
Those kind of comments are counterproductive. They're not going to create a single job in Arkansas. They're not going to increase anyone's wages in Arkansas. They're not going to keep an Arkansan safe. So, to the extent that he says counterproductive things, whether it's on Twitter or in interviews, obviously he ought not say those things.
Yeah, with your discussion with him, that's where I wanted to come back to here. It seems like he doubles down on things that maybe he shouldn't be doing.
Well, I won't go into any further detail about my private conversations with the president, but suffice to say, Kevin, everything I'm telling you and telling Arkansans, I've told him as well.
Let's back up here, get back on topic here. Tom Cotton, U.S. Senator, the London terror attacks, with those, your feeling about it?
Well, it's a terrible attack. It goes to show the threat that all Americans and Western Europeans face from the threat of terrorism that hasn't abated in the last 16 years. Great Britain's now faced 3 major terrorist attacks in less than 3 months. They had a similar driving and stabbing incident about 3 months ago, then the attack in the Manchester concert a couple weeks ago, and now this. I don't know all the facts of what happened and what led up to these attacks. I've seen the reports that one of the attackers was featured on a documentary about Islamic jihadism. I think obviously we need to get to the bottom of that and figure out what happened there. And we need to make sure that that kind of thing doesn't happen in the United States, that the FBI and our intelligence agencies are zealously pursuing with every available tool anyone who's shown any indication that they might turn on their fellow citizens and fellow Americans and attack us, just like they should use every tool to pursue terrorists abroad as well.
Senator Tom Cotton, former FBI Director James Comey's testimony coming this week. What would you like to hear from Mr. Comey?
Kevin, I think it's important that Mr. Comey address all the allegations swirling around his dismissal from the FBI last month and his interactions with President Trump during the 4 months that he served in the Trump administration. I don't know what he'll say. Most of the news reports are based on hearsay, sometimes double or even triple hearsay. Therefore, I think it's important that Mr. Comey clear the air on these matters and provide the American people some answers. I suspect that many members of the committee will also ask him about his thought process in the campaign last year when he addressed Hillary Clinton's email investigation. and then reopen the investigation in October and then close it a week later. Many Democrats were calling for his dismissal because of those actions. So I'm sure that that's going to be a topic of conversation as well. More than anything, though, I think we just need to hear straight from the horse's mouth, so to speak, rather than credit anonymous sources in the newspapers.
How will this play into both the House, the Senate, and the special counsel Russia investigation?
We have both a public and a classified hearing with Mr. Comey, and I think we'll receive a lot of important information in the review we're conducting on the Senate Intelligence Committee about exactly what had happened in the FBI and the course of their investigation, their counterintelligence investigation of what Russia did during our campaign last year and any involvement that any American might have had in it. So Mr. Comey briefed us on several occasions, sometimes to explicitly tell us what had happened in investigation or to respond to erroneous news reports. So I think this will be just another one in a series of briefings that we've received from Mr. Comey and we continue to receive from his acting successor.
U.S. Senator Tom Cotton, thank you so much. Enjoyed to talk to you.
Thank you. Enjoy it.